Okay, so next week on ABC General Hospital from February 16th to the 20th, we're going to see something a bit different. Sunny's faced plenty of tough guys in the past, right? But Sidwell, this guy is a whole other story. He's not the type to just stand there making big threats or showing off. Sidwell is sneaky. He gets himself mixed up in all sorts of social and financial situations, really digging in deep, without anyone even realizing it. No messy fingerprints left behind, just quiet strategic moves. It was like Sidwell could tell Sunny was coming for him. The more Sunny dug, the slicker Sidwell got. Every clue Sunny thought he found just seemed to vanish into thin air, like someone had already been there and erased it. That really got to Sunny in a way he usually kept to himself. Usually he called the shots, but lately it felt like Sidwell was playing chess a few moves ahead. At the same time, Lucy and Ava were making things worse, making everything more complex. Lucy really started to hold a grudge against Sidwell, and it turned into a real obsession. She was totally convinced he was using deception to sneak in illegal goods and felt this burning need to expose him. Right away, completely ignoring what might happen afterward. Ava wouldn't be backed into a corner. She kept saying she needed negotiating power before facing them, which just caused more tension and made everything worse. They were always fighting, and you could really see the strain it put on everything. Sunny hated being in the spotlight and all that attention, especially since Sidwell really got going when things were a mess. So Sunny switched things up. Instead of pushing so hard all the time, he started stepping back, just watching more quietly. He really dug into the money stuff, financial trails, offshore accounts, all that. He was looking for patterns, not just jumping every time something happened. But even as he tried to figure things out, he felt something colder and scarier bubbling up inside. This wasn't just about work anymore. It got personal. Sidwell was stepping on Sunny's turf, and Sunny really felt like he had to get back at him, even if it meant doing something stupid. He started thinking about really aggressive things he could do to send a clear message. Stuff that would totally mess up Sidwell overnight. But he also knew those kinds of actions came with big risk. If someone messes up, it could start a fight way bigger than anyone planned, and Lucy, Ava, and all sorts of other people could get caught in the crossfire. Lucy just kept fuming publicly, which really turned up the heat. And Ava, being so careful, made it pretty clear that their friendships might not be as strong as everyone thought. Sunny saw the switch happening inside him, and frankly, it scared him a little. His anger used to be something he could control, a tool he pulled out when he needed it. But now it was just getting in the way. Sidwell wasn't just running a quick scam. He was really setting up something big, made to last and stay hidden for a long time. As Sunny dug around, finding little bits of info here and there, like secret messages, strange go-betweens, and hushed money moves, it hit him that this wasn't just stuff happening by chance. It was all planned out. And designing things sure took a lot of patience. Patience meant Sidwell was waiting for Sunny to overreact. That hit Sunny hard, and he really struggled with it inside. Going too fast would mean he'd just walk right into a trap. If he dragged his feet, Sidwell would just get too strong to mess with. Lucy and Ava kept building tension, and every fight just made things shakier. All their emotional outbursts made it seem like Sunny's whole group was falling apart. That crack really showed how exposed things were. Sunny got it. This whole thing wasn't about land or money anymore. It was all in their heads, a real test of who could last longer and stay in charge. Sidwell was pushing buttons, getting under people's skin without actually looking like he was trying to start something. He'd throw things off balance without ever really going head to head. For what felt like ages, Sunny was met with a new feeling, a little doubt nibbling at his usual certainty. That whole revenge plan, it used to feel so clear-cut and powerful, but now it's teetering on being just a messy, spur-of-the-moment thing. If he let his pride call the shots, the whole thing could just blow up. Not doing anything just felt like giving up. So there was Sunny right in the middle of this brewing storm. He was trying to figure out if he should stick to his plan or just give in to what he really wanted. He knew that if he messed up even a little, it wouldn't just hurt Sidwell. It would start a war that could take everyone down. Jason always figured danger was a given, not just at times, maybe times, but this time it just felt different. The stakes were higher, way heavier, like this could be it. When it was confirmed Steve was leaving General Hospital, it really shook up everything tied to Jason's story. Suddenly, every one of Jason's steps felt super important, loaded with meaning. This wasn't just another mission anymore, and it wasn't just about taking a calculated risk for loyalty's sake. It just felt like it was all ending, even though they were supposed to be saving me. He just felt like everything was going to happen the way it was, with the story around him always changing things up. Things kept changing, and Jason ended up right in the middle of a swirling mess that was getting totally out of hand. When he decided to act quickly and without a second thought to save Britt, Drew, and Michael, it really kicked off something way bigger than he ever thought it would. Jason always jumped in without a second thought if his loved ones were in trouble. When you put Britt's openness, Drew's delicate position, and Michael's growing threats all together, any one of those things on its own would have made him want to keep them safe. All these things together created such a mess that we had to do something right away. But this time, the rescue was messy. The enemies circling them weren't just moving willy-nilly. They were watching what Jason would do next. probably even counting on it. He tried his best to keep Britt out of jail to make sure Drew was safe and to warn Michael, but each thing he did just put him more at risk. He wasn't just protecting them, he was putting a target on his own back. The shock wasn't that Jason stepped in at all. That was just him, I just couldn't believe how far he took things this time. Things started feeling different, a lot darker and kinda brutal. Jason wasn't hidden anymore. He was going right into the thick of things. Getting Britt out of that dangerous situation meant he had to make some pretty risky connections and do some things. Out in the open. Trying to help Drew might just stir up old hurts from secrets that were better left alone. By standing up for Michael, Jason might have just set off a chain of events that particular forces were hoping would happen. What really made it all so risky was that Jason totally got what he was risking, but he went ahead with it anyway. He was pretty set on what he had to do, almost like he knew deep down that to protect the folks he cared about, he might have to give up his own safety for good. That confirmation about leaving just made me even surer of what I thought. It wasn't just a plot twist. It felt like a reckoning. Jason had always put everyone else before himself, and now it was getting to be a really dangerous habit. The danger around Jason started small, but as threats grew, it totally blew up. They really cracked down. They moved to new spots. Folks on our side started getting a bit jumpy. Jason's involvement just made everything messier. Britt's rescue really shook things up for some of the big shots. Drew's protection made things tricky for people's loyalties. To keep Michael safe, some tough conversations had to happen and there was no going back after them. Every single decision just piled on more risk and the way things were going. You knew the mess afterwards wouldn't be small potatoes. It feels like Jason's last act won't be a calm or sleepy one. This is going to be big. It's crazy to see how his actions don't just stop with him. They really spread out and mess with everyone around him. 2. Saving Britt meant he might not be free anymore. Keeping Drew safe might show us what's really going on behind the scenes. Keeping Michael safe might just stir up trouble with enemies who are not afraid to make things worse anymore. What really grabs you is the feeling simmering just below the surface. Jason's drive really feels more focused now, like he knows he doesn't have forever. Knowing that just makes every choice feel huge. He's not just reacting anymore. He's all in, no turning back. The danger Jason's facing isn't just a possibility anymore. It's active and growing really unpredictable. It wasn't just one big bang. Everything went south because he wouldn't back down. If this really is the end of his time here, he won't just disappear without a sound. He's going to burn out a last stand to keep things safe, even if it means losing it all. Brooklyn just watches it all unfold, painfully slow like a train wreck. You can't stop because the brakes are gone. Chase is really going through it, and even though she keeps trying to help him find his footing, he just keeps picking his obsession over what makes sense. He's become so obsessed with proving Michael is guilty that it's just taken him over. He can't see what's really going on, which is funny because everyone else can almost see that Willow is actually setting the trap. She's been quietly pulling strings while Chase is totally focused on the wrong person. The more Chase sees Michael as the bad guy, the more he pushes Brooklyn away. She can see his judgment slipping and she sees it a lot sooner than he does. Chase has already paid the price. He got demoted because he bent the rules for Willow, and you'd think that would have been a wake-up call, a chance to really think things over and get back on track. Nope, it just made him want to get Michael even more. Getting back on track when you're super focused on something that can be a really dangerous path. Brooklyn gets it. If he keeps going with his gut feelings instead of looking at the facts, he's going to lose more than just trust. He could totally lose his badge for this. It wouldn't be because Michael was smarter if that's what ends up happening. It'll be because he just wouldn't question Willow's part in everything. Wiley simply makes everything more unstable. The child watched Chase put Michael's key down on the floor. That little thing, which seems like nothing right now, could really blow up on us later. If Michael's keychain has Drew's key, Chase could suddenly look really suspicious again. Things could turn out in a way that makes it look like he planted the key himself. The stuff he thinks will expose Michael might actually show he did something wrong himself. And just like that, everything Chase is fighting for might fall apart. Brooklyn could definitely feel the tension growing between them. She loves Chase, but she cannot stand by while he destroys himself chasing the wrong enemy. Talking to them always turns into a fight. Each warning she gives is met with defensiveness. He thinks he's doing the right thing for justice. She catches a glimpse of him going straight into a trap. With every argument, they just drift further apart. And that old trust that held them together, it's really starting to wear thin. If Chase gets caught or benched again, especially if it looks like he messed with proof, things will go really bad. Not only will his job take a hit, but it will also shatter their love. Brooklyn shouldn't commit to a guy who just can't see what's staring him in the face. Chase is so busy trying to prove himself that he might not even notice she's gone until it's too late. This isn't just about Michael anymore. It's about how much pride can hurt, how being loyal to the wrong things can mess you up. And what happens when you let something become a total obsession? If the truth about Willow comes out and Chase finds out he's been played, just the embarrassment could completely break him. And Brooklyn might not make it through the emotional mess with him. Their love story, which used to be so strong because they trusted each other and bounced back from tough times, is now on really shaky ground. One wrong reveal, one public finger pointing, one bit of proof going against Chase. And they'd both face a mess that no one could fix. And if that disaster hits, it won't just end an investigation. This could totally sink things for Brooklyn and Chase. Valentine's Day might bring a little romance to Port Charles, but even with all the candlelight and sweet talk, there's something way more unsettling brewing. Jason's ready to take a big chance to get to Britt and their reunion. It's gonna be intense and passionate. Not just some cutesy mushy stuff. It's more than just being passionate, it's about time they've carved out from other things. About a pair who just get that each moment they share could come with a price attached. Jason understands that seeing Britt again could put him in a really tricky spot, but he's going for it regardless. It's like something inside him, an instinct is pushing him. And that bond they had, it's still there, it never really went away. They might have sparks flying on screen, but there's a problem brewing behind the scenes, threatening to mess up what was supposed to be a simple, sweet love story. So Michael's date with Jacinda, yeah, that's got its own kind of tension brewing. It really just seemed like a distraction on the surface, a fresh start. A quiet evening meant to steady his chaotic world. But the shadow of Drew's shooting just won't go away. The idea that Michael might get arrested hangs over the night like a clock ticking down the seconds. Imagine if the cops showed up at just the wrong time. That cozy dinner could turn into a total disaster. Really embarrassing you in public. The thing is, it's not simply a matter of whether Michael is innocent. It's about if someone deliberately set him up to appear guilty at a very specific moment. All this time, Willow's still pulling the strings. She's really taking things to another level with this whole Drew control thing. It's honestly getting a bit creepy. Drew's being medicated, which keeps him quiet and cooperative so he can't fight back or share what he knows. Willow seems super calm on the outside, but underneath it's pretty scary. She actually thinks she can keep this up forever, giving him drugs, changing how much he gets, and watching him like he's some kind of science project. She shows concern to everyone around her. Behind closed doors, she firms up her hold, but Kai's really starting to pay more attention. He's around Drew for a reason. He just knows something isn't right. Willow probably thinks she's got everything perfectly planned, but she's totally forgetting how much Kai notices the little things. He picked up on the medication schedule, how Drew's reaction shifted ever so slightly, and how Willow seemed to hover a bit too perfectly right when things got serious. If Kai sees Willow giving Drew another dose and starts to ask what's really going on, things could definitely unravel pretty fast. It could get really intense if Kai happens to overhear Willow talking a bit too much. Maybe letting slip parts of her plan when she's feeling a little too confident or just gets careless. Alexis told Kai and Trina to tell her if they saw anything off, making it clear she wanted them to be careful over being loyal to anyone else. That advice could turn out to be super important real soon, if Kai collects enough info to truly worry people. Alexis might be the first person to actually question Willow's version of things. When people start looking closer, Willow's made-up world might just fall apart. Her exactness, which used to keep her safe, could actually be what causes her harm. Willow just hasn't grasped how delicate her control really is. She really thinks she's untouchable, that her way of pulling strings is perfect, but every plan, no matter how clever, risks being found out. We're getting closer to confirming the truth about her crime, about Drew's condition, about the purposeful sedation, and about the real reason for setting up Michael. When it finally comes out, it won't just surprise the people caught up in it. This is going to blow up some relationships, totally change who's friends with who, and leave Port Charles's emotional scene looking completely different. That Valentine's Day romance might be temporary. Underneath all those pretty roses and sweet nothings is a nasty surprise that's about to blow up. When Willow's crimes come out, it's going to be a total mess that no one can clean up.